Folks, I'm really excited to welcome our guest right now, joining us from AEW. And he is also going to be at Warrior Wrestling this Friday, October 6th in South Bend, Indiana, facing Bryan Keith, another name that you should be knowing if you don't know yet. This guy, one of a kind, he is Mike Santana joining us now. Hello, how you doing, Mike?
Yo, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Hey, man, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Wow, thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to it.
Well, I got to ask for first question, Warrior Wrestling this weekend, late replacement, replacing Eddie Kingston, facing Bryan Keith, though. That's a match I know a lot of people are looking forward to. How much do you have you followed Bryan Keith, and what are you expecting for this matchup against him?
Honestly, I've been watching some of his stuff since even before I got injured. He's been making his rounds for a while now, and he's been killing it everywhere he's gone. So I'm looking forward to mixing it up with him. I got to meet him when he did AEW against Adam Page. Great guy, seems like a great dude. Obviously has a good head on his shoulders if he's progressing in this world, and so I'm looking forward to it, man. Our styles are they complement each other, and I'm sure it's gonna be a good one, man.
It's your first singles match coming back, one of your first singles matches since coming back from injury. Any nervousness around that, especially facing a big guy like Bryan Keith?
I wouldn't say nervousness, more excited. Like, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I've done a lot of work with myself, and thankfully, I wouldn't say cocky, but more just I'm confident, man, and I'm confident to get in there with a guy like him and know that we're just gonna bring out the best in each other, So I'm really looking forward to it.
So this is a very large scope question here. You were out, you were sidelined with the injury after blood and guts. I know you've been very open and honest about just kind of the path to getting back and the ups and the downs. Like, overall, just what was that like on kind of a day-to-day and the road to getting back, and how you were feeling and how you got through the downs of everything? Because I imagine, your livelihood is kind of taken away for a year. Like, what helped you just get through a lot of
that? Man, I mean, it was quite the journey. I'll tell you that. I said in a promo a couple of weeks ago, going away for the injury was the easy part. It was the spiritual, the mental, the emotional aspect of dealing with things. The last 3.5 years were just a whirlwind of a lot of stuff going on in my personal life that, my entire life I spent running to wrestling as an escape from a lot of the personal things that I went through in my life. And, the past 3.5 years was no different, even though sometimes there were a lot of times that wrestling was the thing making me unhappy. But to be honest, dealing a lot of the personal issues I was dealing with, I just ran from. And then finally, when you don't have that escape and you're sitting at home, you got no choice but to face all those things, And man, it was a process, and one day I'll get more in depth of what went down, but I I don't even know where to go from that. It was a lot of shit, man. It was a lot of shit, and nobody likes to deal with the skeletons in their closet, right? Everybody keeps them locked away for as much as long as they could. But, again, when you don't have that escape and you're stuck sitting home and got nothing but time to think and I didn't, honestly, I'll keep it real. I didn't think I was ever going to wrestle again. And that wasn't because of me not being able to get through the injury. It was just, again, a lot of personal struggles and a lot of things that I just had to deal with. And, but thankfully, I got to a point where it was like, all right, enough is enough. Either I'm going to get better and be better and use this time to become, a 10 times better person than what I was, or I'm just going to sit in my shit and just let it eat away at me. And I've never been the type of person to allow that to happen. So thankfully, I spent half, I'd say 6 months of the time that I was out just bettering myself in every way possible. And I sat with myself a lot and dealt with a lot of my issues. And thankfully, I think the biggest thing was that I wanted to be better and I wanted to get better. So, because they always say, if you don't want it, it ain't going to work, and I wanted it. I was desperate. And, thankfully I took the time to do the work, and it just made me a better person. And, the person that I am today is nothing like the person that I was before. And I'm thankful, God gave me another chance, and I ran with it. And I'm here today, and I'm blessed.
I hope you don't mind me asking, was there a catalyst, a moment that kind of turned it around? Because you were talking about the possibility of maybe never coming back to wrestling and sitting in your shit and everything. What changed? What happened? Was there a moment, a light bulb, or was it just like an ongoing thing?
The moment had to be right before Christmas, and my daughter showed me her Christmas list. And in her Christmas list, she says, I just want Daddy to get better. And that did it for me. I was like, my daughter looked at me as a superhero her whole life, And on the path that I was on and where I was going, I would have never been able to face her, And when I read that was it. I knew I had to do something, and I did something. And her reaction to seeing me back on TV, that was it. That was all I needed, But that was the moment, yeah.
We are happy to see you back on TV, especially after the gruesome injury at Blood and Guts. I'm going to make a hard turn here. You mentioned personal issues. It's something that is played out on television, played out on social media as well. Your relationship with Ortiz. You guys came into AEW together, where we're celebrating 4 years of Dynamite today. And now things have kind of taken a downturn. What is it like? You worked with him coming back in the Stadium Stampede. You guys have now split. What is kind of the status between you guys, and how much are we seeing on TV and on social media is real with the comments, and then how much is kind of like, all right, we'll play it up a little bit?
I knew this was coming. In life, right? In life, there comes moments where you look back at everything and you're like, yo, this was cool. And this was great accomplishments that we did and all this stuff. But sometimes you want more, right? Sometimes you don't want to be comfortable, and you don't want, like me, I'm the type of person that comfortability it makes me uncomfortable, and I like, wrestling, just like with any job, you want to progress, you want to get better, you want to move up, you want to be a bigger name, you want to do this, you want to do that, whatever. But for me personally, I realized it was just like, yo, it's about that time, for me. I'm happy with everything that we've done. I'm happy with the run that we've had. It was great. Like we got to accomplish a lot of things together. We came up together. We helped each other get through a lot of things. But sometimes things happen for a reason. And you know, of course, there's a lot of personal stuff, but you know, that's between him and I, and for him and I to deal with. But you know, we decided to be professionals, and we have a job, and we decided to do that job. And you know, was it something that I initially, to be honest, did I initially want to do it? No, I didn't feel like there was a need for me personally. I was just like, I mean, whatever. But we're pros and we got a job, so let's do our job and make the best of it, and you know, move forward.
How much did
Go
the
ahead.
injury kind of change your perspective on that? Because I would imagine sitting at home for a year and being like,
Yeah.
and look, I think you guys should have won the tag team titles a long time ago. I thought that was a missed opportunity with things. But how much did the injury like change your perspective of like, I don't want to just sit here and just I want to do more. Like,
Yeah.
did the injury change your perspective on that?
Yeah, but I was feeling like that way before the injury. You know, I was just not, but also I was just not I was not in a good place mentally and with anything. But yeah, man, like again, when you have nothing but time to think and sit in your stuff, then you got to put a lot of shit in perspective, and you gotta you know, make a lot of decisions, and just, you know, and yeah, I this, for me personally, everything happened the way it needed to, honestly. I look at this injury, I look at everything from my dad passing away, I look at everything from, you know, the struggles at work. Everything happened the way it needed to happen to get me to where I am today. And today, I'm the best version of myself I've ever been. So, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to go through the shit to get to the, you know, to the light, I guess, you know. But yeah, man, the injury itself, it did a lot to me. It did a lot. But yeah, that was definitely, you know, one of the things that it opened my eyes to. You know, we all have a window, right, in this business. I'm 32 years old. I'm not old, but I ain't exactly that young either. You know what I mean? And I want to make the absolute most of my time and truly make the best of it. And yeah, I want to be able to look back and be like, yo, I did that, you know, and just be content and happy with what I've done. Um, and yeah, man, at the end of the day, what my main thing now is just growing and having fun doing it, you know. And yeah, I always said, if it, just like with any job in any profession, if you ain't working to move up or to get promoted or to be bigger than what you are, what the hell is the point? What are you doing? Right? So, but again, not everybody has that same mindset, and that's okay. You know, this is I'm just speaking of myself.
I want to go way back. I got a very, very important question to ask you, Mike.
Yo,
Entertaining your effing balls off, EYFBO.
yeah,
Who?
yep.
Give me the emphasis of that. Who came up with the idea for that tag team name? What was the reason? How did it stick for so long?
So, because back then the LMFAO group was huge, right? They were a huge deal in like 2010, 2011. So nobody was doing it at the time. So I was so against it. Let me tell you, I was like, this is the corniest shit ever in life. And I was just, but you know, my partner at the time, he was like, yo, we should do it. Let's just have fun. Nobody's doing it. It's a hot thing right now, right? And what does wrestling do? Take advantage of hot shit that's going on, right? So I was like, all right, whatever. But we didn't have a name. And one day we're heading, I think, to like Rhode Island or something to go wrestle. And one of our other friends, shout out Chris Cage, one of our other homeboys that grew up with us, he actually came up with the name. And we were all just in the car laughing or whatever. He's like, yo, what about, you know, EYFBO? And I was like, that sounds horrific. That sounds absolutely terrible. And then we all started throwing like things out for the the acronym or whatever. But yeah, it just stuck, and we went with it. But yeah, it was one of those like fun moments in the car on the road, just bullshitting.
So I've always known you as a tag team guy, but when you
Yeah,
kind of caught my radar as a singles person was the Moxley feud
yeah.
early in AEW, and you did this sit down with Jim Ross. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, there's something there on
Yeah,
that. Again, 4 years of Dynamite. This was right before the pandemic started as
yeah,
well. I think these are like the last shows before the pandemic started.
yeah.
Your memories of working with Moxley, and specifically the match, and also the sit down with Jim Ross, because I think we got to see a different side of Santana that we're now seeing now that you're back, but
Yeah.
before where people kind of only knew you as a tag guy.
Yeah. That happened right after my dad passed away. We were in Jacksonville. My dad passed away New Year's. I found out New Year's Day. So I was in Jacksonville. We were getting ready to do a show. I get the call. I had to um, rush back home, and then I was gone. I took 2 weeks off, and I came back, which I think still to this day was the worst thing I could have done. Um, but yeah, I mean that sit down, it affected me so deeply, like losing my dad because we were so close, and yeah, that sit down, and it was real as hell. There was no, there was. I remember Jr. coming to me because I was kind of nervous because I was still very emotional at that time, and my biggest worry was not being able to keep it together emotionally. And Jr. comes to me. He's like, "Listen, let's just talk. No character stuff. No, like, just talk, and we're gonna have a conversation, and that's it. Pretending like the cameras aren't there." And he did a great job of just relaxing me and just yeah. But yeah, man, like I look back on it now, and it's like that pain was just, it was there, and it it came out in the best way possible, right? I was able to, you know, um, I there was a saying that I learned while I was out, that pain equals paint. Sometimes your greatest pain will give you the greatest art that you'll ever do, and that was an example of one of those moments. And yeah, it was very special, and just to sit down with Jr. in general, because if you look back, all the greats have done it. All the greats have sat down with him and have had uh, uh, interviews, and have had moments that have you know put them on a whole different playing field, right? And that was another thing that I was kind of like thinking about, like take advantage of that moment and make the best of it, and just and yeah, and working with Moxley, it was great. Like we spoke, and he knew everything that was going on, and we were in that whole heated storyline with the inner circle and him, and everything. Just, it was all like good stuff, and it was great working with him, and yeah, I'd love to work with him again.
So this is where I get to do some far-reaching and talk about Moxley's good friend Sami Callihan, someone
Yeah,
that you have experience with as well, having
yeah,
worked alongside him in Impact. And
yeah.
I want to talk about the Impact matches, but I also want to get your feeling on Sami Callihan's recent free agency announcement.
Hmm.
Is he someone that you could see fitting in the AEW world? Talk to me about Sami and just your experiences with him.
Sammy is a great dude. I've always had great experiences with him. Um, Amazing mind. So for me, Sammy, wherever Sammy goes, Sammy's gonna fit, because if you're a great pro wrestler, you know how to adapt no matter where you go, and Sammy has proven that no matter where he's gone. And he has a great mind, and he's a great guy in the ring, and he offers a lot. Getting to work with him during Impact days was awesome. Like, we did that whole feud. We did the barbed wire massacre stuff. Like, yeah, it was awesome. You know, working with him was pretty cool. And you know, I'm excited to see, because like now since I've been back, I've been like really doing deep dives into like everything. I watch WWE, Impact, New Japan, everything, and I'm excited to see where he ends up, because he'll be able to have amazing matches with a lot of people. And yeah.
Jeremy, before you get one, I got to ask a follow up. Which one's worse, barbed wire ropes or a concrete jungle death match?
Concrete jungle.
Yeah.
100%. Bumping on those boards was not fun. I'll take barbed wire any day. Like,
We
honestly.
saw Christian do it last night with Darby Allin. So I mean, what was the feeling? You're watching it back and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, so I was out with the family last night, so I didn't get to catch the show, but I saw like clips this morning, and I was like, God bless them. God bless those guys, because I remember it was actually with Eddie where we did the street sweeper, and I did a damn blockbuster from the top rope and hit those boards, and I remember my hip and not being able to walk for like at least 2.5 weeks. I was like, don't ever make me do this again, please. I don't want to do these. Like, yeah, I'll do barbed wire any day. Yeah. At least barbed wire is like, I feel like there's more control with barbed wire than there is, you know, like bumping on those boards was not fun. Yeah.
My last one for you, Mike. Do you know if Richie is okay?
Listen. Listen. I recently, I don't even know how this all got dug up, honestly. Recently, I saw something on X now. I'm still getting used to calling it that, right? But I saw someone posted like a clip, and they were like, I can't believe all you guys were a part of this. And I was like, yo, honestly, I forgot that happened. That was one of those moments that I try to put in the back of my mind and just forget about it. But yeah, I told Sanjay like not too long ago, because he was there with us during that time, and I was like, yo, we were just trying to recreate episodes of The Wire and shit during that time, honestly. And yo, it was crazy. We had a lot of fun though. We had a lot of fun. I look back on that run at Impact very, very fondly. You know, all the people there. It was just, I don't know, man. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, we had a great time, and everyone we worked with was awesome, and that locker room was awesome. And yeah, man, I'm so happy to see them doing great things today and continuing that success. And yeah, man, I wish the best for all of them.
Mike, I appreciate you joining us today. I gotta say, I want to appreciate your openness and your candidness about things, and how willing you've been talking to us. I lost my father earlier this year, and like you, I feel I came back to everything too early. So a lot of these comments that you were saying hit really home to me. So again, I appreciate the conversation you were able to have with us today. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. And again, I look forward to this show and wrestling Bryan Keith, and it's going to be awesome. So make sure everybody checks it out. And Warrior Wrestling always puts on banger shows. So yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to this new journey, and I hope that everyone follows along and continues to support. And at the end of the day, continue supporting pro wrestling, because pro wrestling is awesome.
Yeah, let everybody know where they can find you at and support you at.
I mean, my socials, Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever the hell it is, at Santana_proud. Yeah, man, that's usually where I'm at. That's where you can find me. That's where you can support me. Starting my brand up soon again, the Born Nasty brand stuff. So, yeah, man, I appreciate everyone, and I look forward to this new ride that I'm on.
Mike Santana taking on Bryan Keith, Warrior Wrestling, this Friday, October 6th, South Bend, Indiana. It's available on Fight Plus, or if you can make it to the venue, go check it out. Mike Santana, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, man.